Today we're interviewing Alana Henry with the Young Family Farm. Hi, Alana.
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here.
I'm very happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you became interested in the environment and climate issues.
Yeah, well, that's a great question, actually. I have sort of a convoluted story. So if you have time for it, I'd love to share that.
Please share.
My background is actually in journalism and English education. I received my degree in journalism, did that for a little bit, was a English teacher, and bounced around because of my husband's job. And so I didn't have sort of a moment, I guess you could say, where I said, I really want to get involved in urban ag, and I really want to get involved in climate change related policy and advocacy. That was not something that was in the forefront of my mind. However, what I will say is that growing up as a child, and of course through my young adulthood, being sustainable and caring for the environment was very much a part of our lives. It wasn't something that was explicitly taught, like, hey, we are being sustainable and we are fighting for the climate. But growing up, we did cleanups. We would pick up trash in our community. My parents were big on waste not, want not. We recycled from home. We didn't necessarily do a lot of composting, but we did, compost some food scraps and had a backyard garden. And so those were things that were sort of a part of like my natural upbringing. And when my parents started, my parents are Alan and Yolanda Young, when they started expanding their garden into something that was more of a sort of a business production for folks to kind of purchase produce, it really kind of was a natural progression from what had been a part of my childhood experience. Each summer when I would come back, we would help in the garden and they would sell at a farmer's market, and I'd help when I was in town to do that. And then when I moved back permanently here to Kansas City from all the various places that I lived, I just sort of seamlessly fit right into what was already going on. And my brother is also very much involved in sustainability and climate change related endeavors. So it's sort of hard to encapsulate one moment or one reason as to why I'm involved in the things that I'm involved in, other than to say it really is something that was a small little seed that continued to grow and grow and grow, and so in that sense it's very natural for me.
That's a great story. So tell us about your the farm, the Young Family Farm.
Yeah, so Young Family Farm is a family-owned operation. My parents started the farm. My siblings and I are a part of working on the farm. Our children are also involved, and then we have extended family that helps from time to time. We grow produce here in Midtown KC, in the urban core, and we sell that produce directly from our farm site to customers. We give away a lot of our produce because of the need in the community. I share with folks that, the average household, the median household income here rather is approximately $30,000 a year. And so for many of the folks who are located close to our farm, they may not have the financial means to go to a full service grocery store and pay some of the prices that we're seeing at those grocery stores for fresh produce. And many don't have access to fresh vegetables because of lack of transportation and other issues. And so what we have taken as a part of our mission and our charge here in the urban core is to help alleviate some of that challenge and to help fight food insecurity here in Kansas City by providing fresh produce at an affordable price for folks who are in that lower income bracket.
So you're actually in the food desert area of Kansas City.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How big is your farm? I mean, I guess since we're urban, you'd be talking in terms of blocks, city blocks.
Sure. So, and yes, you could use city blocks, but we do still have sort of the acreage estimate. Our main site is approximately a quarter acre, so it is roughly a half city block. And then we have 3 other sites that are dispersed within, a block, 2-block radius of our main site. So total, we have approximately an acre of land that's in production.
And what kind of produce? I mean, you vegetables, fruit trees, what else?
Yes, actually, we have many varieties of vegetables that we grow. We do have a few fruit trees as well. Those were provided by Giving Grove, which is a great organization for the listeners who aren't aware of Giving Grove. And so most of the fruit really is grown for us because we don't grow it at a scale where we could really sell to the public. But our vegetables, which are spread out across those 4 different lots that I mentioned, I mean, we grow all sorts of things. We grow both spring, summer, and fall. We have crops each of those seasons. And so we grow, of course, the popular, the carrots, the broccoli, the beets, the chard, the greens, all of your popular summer vegetables. And what we aim to do in what we grow is expose our customers to different vegetables that they may not be familiar with. We serve sort of 2 very distinctly different demographics here at Young Family Farm. We have the folks who are in close proximity to our farm who are predominantly Black, although we do have a pretty decent sized Hispanic population as well. And there are certain foods that are familiar to those cultural groups. And then we have folks who come from different areas of Midtown or elsewhere in Kansas City. And those are primarily white customers, and they have a certain set of foods that are familiar and are comfortable and what they're used to eating. And so what we do is we try to make sure that all of those groups are trying different things and sharing different foods. So we have probably, I don't know, 70, 80 different plants that we grow it throughout the course of the year.
Do you have any sort of volunteer program, or obviously maintaining a farm's a lot of work, especially some of the seasonal things? Do you provide opportunities for city, people in the metro area to come in and help with that?
Yes, we do actually. We have volunteer days throughout the year. I would say the heaviest concentration of those volunteer days is definitely in the spring, right? When it's that mad rush to get everything planted. But we do have volunteer days in the summer, and then also volunteer days at the sort of the end of the fall, when we're kind of closing down shop, October-ish timeframe. And folks who are interested in volunteering, they can definitely reach out, but I also am very active on social media, and I usually post about those and have a official sign-up sheet that we use to document the folks that want to come by and support us in the work.
And do you do any other special events throughout the year? I mean, dinners, anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so we actually do a number of things. One of the reasons why we got involved in this work is to support our community. And so in addition to volunteer days where folks can come together and support us here at the farm, we do lots of tours, we do workshops, we do field trips here at Young Family Farm. And we also this year, for the first time, had a farm to table dinner fundraiser, where folks could purchase a ticket and attend a dinner where the food was sourced from our farm and other local farms who are, sort of growing food or meats sustainably and responsibly in a way that is beneficial to the environment.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Tell me what brought you to the Climate Council?
Well, I had heard great things about the Climate Council. There were other folks who were in the ag space that I noticed who were partners with the Climate Council. And so what I saw in collaborating was an opportunity to get connected with an organization or an entity that was supporting efforts that we were in line with, things that were valuable and important to us. And also the networking piece. That's something that I've learned, not just in my work in urban ag, but just in general, is how critical it is to network. There are so many resources out there, and the more you connect with other folks and talk with other folks, the more you can identify ways that you can support each other in the work that you're doing. And so what I think the Climate Council can do for us is connect us with other potential partners and resources engaged in this work. And what we hope we're doing is bringing more attention to the Climate Council, and serving as a incentive for other folks to get involved and get connected.
Absolutely. We're very happy to have you as part of our family.
Wonderful. Thank
What
you
about
for
the future? Where do you think you're going from here, both either yourself or the Young Family Farm? Any plans for growing? Where would you like to be a year from now?
Oh, that's a great question. I think if you asked each of the family members, we'd have different answers. So I will say one of the dreams that I have is I really would like to have a pumpkin patch. When folks think of pumpkin patches, they think of having to drive way out to Overland Park or some small town in Kansas, and it's a big sprawling farm, right? And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pumpkins, and they go for fall photos and whatever else. And I'd like to bring that to the urban core. I'd like to have a space, albeit not as large as some of those pumpkin farms, but a space where folks from the community can come and get pictures taken, and participate in, the sort of the fall festival type of vibe, but right here in Midtown, in a place that's more convenient, more accessible for them. Another thing that's important to me and what I'd like to create is, I haven't put a name on it yet, but sort of free food days, right? Where folks from the community can come and can obtain fresh vegetables, any of our vegetable seconds, things that we maybe weren't able to sell at market, and provide them with the opportunity to get more fresh produce around sort of like a structured program. So I'm still thinking through what that looks like, and how that would play out. But as I mentioned previously, part of our mission and part of the value that we hope to bring to the community is as a resource for folks who may not be able to go to a full service grocery store, or at least may not be able to do that on a frequent basis, and to be able to provide them with fresh produce. And so I'm trying to think of a program or an initiative, or a way to meet that need with sort of more of a structure than what we do on market days, which is just, here, take that, here, take this, go on and grab an extra of those, which works. And I think people appreciate, but more of a structure to that sort of a program initiative.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. It was a pleasure as well on my end.